Welcome back to the SCIF. I'm Matt. That's Stu. This is the Green Beret Life. We are a 501c3. We provide free training to veterans, first responders, and their families. We also train civilians. All the money that goes from that goes to get veterans into the outdoors. So if you're interested in the class, hit us up. If you're interested in asking us any questions about the military, if you're a young guy looking at going into the military, if you're not such a young guy looking at going into the military, feel free to hit us up. If you're getting out of the military and you have some questions on transitioning, especially transitioning, Stu is going to be your man. And but if you have any questions, yeah, about contracting or something along those lines, you can reach out to us here. And Stu's been a contractor for a long freaking time now. So he's got a lot of experience there, as well as transitioning. So get a hold of us at TheGreenBeretLife@gmail.com. It's below. We're only going to spend a little bit of time on YouTube here because YouTube sucks. And we're going to switch over to Rumble. We have a link for our Rumble down below. Please come and join us at Rumble. They're really starting to, I don't know if people were paying attention to this with the Joe Rogan Trump interview. Google completely buried it. So you couldn't find it when you were searching for it. This is what they've been doing on everything. Stu and I have talked about this ad nauseum. You guys all know. These search engines are a complete disaster. So with that being said, Stu, what do we got on tap for tonight?
There is a good bit of nonsense going on. There's some stories I think might be a little out of context, but there's already some, it looks like there some irregularities at the polls. There's some ridiculous stuff going on in Oregon and Washington with ballot boxes being set on fire. It's the nonsense is starting, and it's what we've been talking about. We've been encouraging people to vote early to try and skirt this stuff that's going on, because I don't think it's going to get any better as we're leading up to the election day. And speaking of that, it probably doesn't matter, because Nevada now has a judge has ruled that they must accept ballots even if they have no postmark on them up to 3 days after the close of the polls on election day. And we'll go over the story, but the language they use is so they're just I can't think of the pronunciation of the word, but they're treating everyone like children, as in, oh, well, it's not their fault. There's something about, we can't have these voters disenfranchised through no fault of their own. Well, they know election day is the 5th. They know when it has to be there, and if they don't get it there in time, it's no one's fault but their own.
Yeah, but how, Stu? But you're not looking at it the right way. How are they going to know how many votes they need? You know what I mean? Or ballots that they need? Yeah,
exactly.
They're not going to know that until election night. So, yes. with that going, one thing I did want to say is, I know Turning Point put this out, even though we've been killing it in early voting. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to eat my words, because what did I say is the dumbest demographic out there outside of high school boys and girls? High school and college age boys and girls? What have I been ramping on about is the dumbest demographic that's caused so much trouble? What have I been saying that was?
Oh, what, the white suburban women?
Now, okay, I might have to eat crow with this, because the majority of the early voting has been women. Where in the hell are the men? Men, you need to get your ass up, and you need to get out there and vote early. There's going to be shenanigans election day. There's already been shenanigans. We're going to go through them in the show tonight, right? You need to get out there, vote early. Okay? So, with that being said, did you say ballot boxes were being lit on fire?
Yep.
You know, that reminds me, what was that thing you used to do back in the day, that nightclub gig where you used to wrap each other in lamp oil or in plastic and burn each other with lamp oil on stage or some shit? What was that?
No. There would be
Jump around
a
with
bed.
dogs and bring on little monkeys on stage?
Well, there'd be a bed on stage. It'd be covered with a shower curtain, and you would have one of the Diddy-sized buckets of. Well, never mind. We're not going to get into
Yeah.
all that. That's
All right.
not on YouTube. We'll get kicked off.
We're conflating two things. But go ahead. I digress. What do you want to start? What story do you want to start with?
What do you want to? Do you want to cover anything here while we're? And I apologize, guys. I'm having to bounce between screens here because normally at home I have 3 screens for everything, and here I'm down to 2, so I'm having to shuffle things around for the show.
Stu is not at his home. If you haven't figured this out, he's at some, what is it, furry convention? Is that where?
Why do you keep calling me out in front of everyone? And no, it's not furry. It's just cosplay.
There we go. Okay. Well, let's. Do we have? Do we just want to just pop smoke on YouTube and go straight over to Rumble and start?
I'd like to do at least one. I'm just trying to see if there's anything we can do that won't be. We might not be able to. I kind of. Do you want to talk about your ActBlue story?
Sure.
Okay.
Congress is now investigating ActBlue. ActBlue for a long time. I don't know if anybody's familiar. This is the big laundry. I should call it the laundrette for the Democrat Party. This is where all of their campaign money comes through. And for the longest time, massive amounts of money have been coming through here, and they'll pick like an individual that may have donated at one time, and they'll put like 70,000 donations through this individual at $1,000 a donation for $70,000 worth of donations. Shit like that. Or they're coming up with credit cards or some type of, I don't quite get this whole deal, but these untraceable credit card numbers or something along those lines.
Is it like the reloadable credit cards or something?
That's what I'm thinking of, but I don't think that's what they're talking about. Okay,
well, like that. Sometimes there's something that you can do if you're buying something online, it'll like generate you a credit card number that's a one-time use that's tied to an account or something to that effect. I don't know a lot about it.
It's long been suspected that a lot of outside foreign money is coming through. Obviously, it would be in the best interest of China, just about everybody, the European Union, if Trump didn't get elected, because these countries have been taking the United States to the cleaners and making a ton of money off of the United States taxpayer, and that all ends when Trump gets back into office. So it's long been suspected that when Kamala, who nobody likes, raises $1 billion and outraises Donald Trump, right? That this isn't all above board. And now they've done a little bit of digging into it, and they see there's multiple cases of individuals who didn't donate anything that are getting charged for donating thousands of times over and over again, hundreds, thousands of times over again. They're like, that wasn't me, right? Now, no money is coming out of their account, but their name is being used to launder the dark money into it. So Congress is finally looking into this. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want right now. They can violate the Constitution. They can, and it's a 50-50 chance whether they're going to get a legitimate judge or an activist judge. And you're going to see a little bit of that. Stu already talked about the activist judge in Nevada, right? We had a legitimate judge tonight. The Supreme Court in Virginia. The Supreme Court took the Virginia case where people identified themselves as illegal and still registered to vote. And Virginia kicked them off. There were 1,600 people. And the DOJ sued to have people that say, I'm illegal, put back into the voter rolls. Okay. And so this is
with the Virginia story. The funny thing about that, because I was listening to a story about it earlier, that exact same program that Youngkin has enacted has been in place for, it was 10 or 12 years, and it's been run by Democrat and Republican governors alike with no issue. He actually started this program. They started it back in August, I think, with no problem from the feds up until when? 5 days before election, 6 days before election. Now all of a sudden it's a problem.
Well, this started back a little ways farther, Stu, because it went to an appellate court who shot it down, and then it went to the next appellate court, and they said nope, it's legal. That's when it went back to the Supreme Court, or it got shot down. The initial court case, and the appellate case brought it back, and then it went to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court has spoken, but this is just an example. It's a crapshoot. Like Stu was talking about earlier, Nevada has some judge saying that you can turn in ballots 3 days late. And in Georgia, they overturned all of the election integrity rules that were pushed through by the governor and the legislature. And Raffensperger's in the middle of this piece of garbage. What skeletons are in his closet? But anyways, getting back to my point that we don't have a legitimate DOJ. They're not going to investigate themselves and ActBlue. And they're not going to investigate themselves on anything. Instead, they're too busy trying to get illegals, people that have identified as illegals, back on the voter rolls in these states because they're worried about Virginia right now, which they should have never been worried about. They're worried about Virginia. Getting out and voting early has thrown such a monkey wrench into their plans, folks. It's collapsing. It's collapsing because if they have to pull their shenanigans, we're on YouTube, pull their shenanigans, right? It makes it so much more difficult when you already have X amount of Republicans have voted, X amount of Democrats have voted. I'll give you an example. They have something called Wow County.
Hey, Matt, you're breaking up. Matt, you're breaking up, man.
All right, is that okay? I see myself. You're under the black ring of death. I think it might be on your side, dude.
All right, go ahead then.
Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Stu, are you still on?
As far as I know. Yeah, I appear to be on my end.
Stu?
Hey guys, can you let us know who is active and who isn't? Because Matt and I seem to be having technical difficulties. He just dropped out, so I'm going to say the issue was him. It appears to be. Let's see, he's back.
Was that on my side for sure?
I think so, because you dropped out.
Well, you dropped out too. I got the black ring of death on your side.
Well, Freedom was saying he could hear me, and Hurricane was saying you were off.
Okay, so it was my side then.
Yeah, we're blaming you anyway. Whether you
that's perfectly fine. I'm used to it. So, but what I was saying is, in Wisconsin, they have what's called the WOW counties, okay? And it's Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington. Okay, now everybody knows Madison, Wisconsin is one of the most liberal places on earth. Madison is referred to as the 20 square miles surrounded by reality. Now, Madison is the second most populated place in Wisconsin outside of Milwaukee. Madison is radically left. University of Wisconsin's Madison's there. Lots of people there. These three rural counties, somewhat rural, semi-rural, are kicking the shit out of Dane County, which is Madison, in voter turnout, and especially Republican turnout. These are three. The WOW are three conservative counties. So that's a sign. Vote early. If you haven't done so already, please get out there. If you know people that haven't done it, encourage them to get out there and vote straight. Or for the simple reason, one of the plans that the Democrats are counting on is if they can't, through shenanigans, keep Trump out, right? they are going to focus all of their attention in that $1 billion we just talked about that was raised through ActBlue, right? To now go after House seats, because if they get the House, then they can pull some shenanigans afterwards, and they're going to impeach Trump and block him on absolutely.
If they get the House, it'll be immediate 14th Amendment. It'll be
Absolutely.
25th Amendment. It'll be impeachment. Anything they can do to prevent him from being able to implement anything at all.
We cannot allow, and I'm worried that maybe we're looking so much at the presidential side, we're not paying attention to some potential fraud on the House and Senate side. You're hearing stories of sealed ballots in a box being found in Pennsylvania on the road. Stu had mentioned ballot boxes are being set on fire in a line. I don't know if we're going to cover this later. In Arizona or in Pennsylvania, it was announced that people had until yesterday, until 4:00 to vote. And people with a badge on, that turns out later, had nothing to do with the local government or the polling facility. They just had some badge making them look official. We're telling people at 1:30 they had to get out of line because there's too many people and they're shutting it down, right? So a Republican assemblywoman ran up and down the line telling people, no, you stay in line. They went up police, these phonies that were wearing these fake, not the police. The police arrested the assemblywoman and broke up everybody out of the line. Now, the Trump administration or the RNC had lawyers on the ground and they brought them to court. So now they've extended until Friday the early voting, which was supposed to be over already. Okay. Yeah. So this is the kind of shenanigans they're pulling, because this was in Bucks County. Are you still there, Stu? You still there?
I am. You're breaking
Can you
up.
hear me?
I'm being told.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead and pull us off of YouTube, Matt, and see if your connection stabilizes a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, the story Matt's talking about, I've got a write up on it, and we'll take a look at it. But it's like you said, it's starting, and they're going to do everything they can to minimize the Republican votes. But I'm going to go ahead and pull us off of YouTube. We're going to be over on Rumble. If you look in the description below, you'll see the chat or the link to the Rumble channel from YouTube. But we're going to hop off YouTube so we can discuss things a little more freely